There's a lot of things we can cover. We decided to do a ton of Q&A, so I've only got a short period of time here to kind of spit it. And so what I'm going to really focus on in this kind of moment is going to piggyback off the last presentation, which is a lot of this is about mindset and overall strategy of how you're navigating your life and your business life and your personal life. This is just about, do you see what's happening or don't you? Do you understand how this plays out in the macro, or are you too consumed with the things that are in front of you in the short term? It's really hard to project blockchain's impact on our society if you're just caught up in the headlines of Bitcoin, right? And so for me, as I navigate my life and think about why things have worked for me, is I go under one very basic assumption, which is, as long as I stay alive, it's always better to think long-term than short-term. And the other thing that runs in parallel to that strategy is my inability to allow one of your opinions to matter more to me than my own opinion about myself. Not because I think I'm great or special, it's just that I think you suck at shit too. So, for me, the themes of what's been happening, why entrepreneurship has been put on a pedestal and is popular, what's happening with the internet at its maturity, the fact that there's so many phones being held up right now, all these different things that are happening, what does it really mean? What it means is there's a group of people, a small percentage of people, that navigate their life decisions from a place of confidence and emotional stability and think in terms of legacy and impact and things in the long game. And there's a group of people that think about insecurities, needing to buy things to cover up their insecurities, so they need cash in the short term because a pair of Supremes or a BMW is going to close the gap of their insecurity. And then there's the in-between. And so for me, I'm very focused on the fact that the stuff that I believe in seemed like a fairy tale or bullshit just 30 years ago because the internet didn't exist. For all the youngsters that I see in the audience, they don't understand a world pre-internet. They don't understand a world pre-smartphone. I'm fucking old. I remember I was 18 before I ever spent 24 hours on a computer in my lifetime. I know what the world looked like. It wasn't practical to have debt and work your 9 to 7 and then come home and make something of yourself. I struggle to complain about anything in a world that is this special. You can decide to look at something narrow and decide stuff sucks or you have a shortcoming, or you can understand the macro, and let's call it very simply what it is, because it's truth. This is the greatest moment to be alive in the history of the human race. So for me, I take it super macro. If I wake up this morning and none of the 7 or 8 people that I love the most died overnight, I'm optimistic. I feel in control. There's always shit. How many people here are an entrepreneur or aspire to be one? Great. For all the youngsters in here, let me give you the first thing that I believe is true about entrepreneurship. It's lonely as fuck. Right? Because when you don't succeed on a team or in school or at a job, here's what you do. Team, it was my player teammates' fault. School, fuck the teacher, right? Work, my boss is a fucking idiot. When you fail in entrepreneurship, all eyes on you. Your fault. You. And guess what? Everybody's watching. So we're living right now through a very glamorous moment of entrepreneurship, where it's cool, where a lot of people want to put it in their Instagram photo and profile because it tells the world who they are. To me, it's an interesting time for entrepreneurship. Anything that swings too far one way or the other becomes vulnerable. When the global economy, and definitely the US economy, different than the Canadian one, when the US economy collapses because we are loaning way too much money to kids that are carrying enormous college debt and aren't making enough to pay their debt back, let alone the house or car or thing they're buying with their loan, when the US economy crashes because of college debt and the economy really suffers, two things will fall in popular opinion. Number one, the institution of colleges in the United States. Number two, the fantasy of entrepreneurship. 98% of the hands that just went up will fail and work at a job in 6 years. Yet, everybody just thought, I'm one of the 2% that isn't. Which is fucking awesome. And do it, and I can't wait for you to kill it. But I will say that while we are talking about all these themes right now, my propaganda, my push, my want for people to debate during this talk is not that I'm gonna rah-rah you up and you're gonna go fucking crush your business, but I am gonna hope to put pressure on everybody in this room to get really self-aware really fast. I think the reason I have a happy life and things have gone well, and more importantly, forget about me being a focus group of one, everybody that I know that has happiness traces back to some incredible commitment to self-awareness. An incredible thing happens in your life when you stop bullshitting yourself. Look, I wish I was a lot of things too. I wish I was the quarterback of the New York Jets. Not gonna happen. I wish I was a supermodel. Not gonna happen. I wish a lot of things too. But when you romanticize and wish, instead of actually being practical and understand, you create a vulnerability. And let me remind this group of people about something that's very important to me. By show of hands, who's under 30 years old? Raise your hands. Fuck. Actually, I want everybody to see what thank you for the lights. If you were under 30, I want you to stand up. That's what's up. So a couple things. Keep staying up because I want this. Couple things. Number one of my least favorite things in society right now is the demonization of the youth and saying like millennials are lazy and entitled. That's straight fucking bullshit. It is. Because for all of us sitting, 90% of our friends were fucking lazy too. However, on the flip side, here's my biggest concern for everybody who's standing. Everybody who's standing has one fatal flaw in the game of entrepreneurship. And it's not your fault, by the way. Your fatal flaw is you haven't been punched in the fucking mouth yet. For everybody that's sitting, we've lived through the meltdown of the economy in 2008 and 2001 and 1996 and on and on and on. Everybody here who's rolling right now has rolled under ridiculous easy game, ridiculous easiness of global economy, unlimited fucking money in the system. Doesn't take a hero to raise capital and lose money every month. And so, the only thing I ask for everybody who's sitting, and you're more than welcome to sit down, thank you. For anybody who is standing, the one thing I want you to understand is that truth. In the same way that it's straight horseshit that people say millennials are entitled and are lazy, it's the same that you have to understand that you have not been punched in the mouth. You have not woken up in the morning and 30% of the money in the economy has been taken out. And then another week later, 50%. And all those brand deals, because you got a lot of Instagram followers, go away. And so I implore everybody in this room, regardless of where you are, to get real practical. The two businesses I built, my dad's liquor store for him and VaynerMedia for me and my brother, I built when I started them in really tough economies. Adversity was my strength. It wasn't easy. There was no raising capital. I've run two companies my entire life. For all my Gary Vee time, from the day I left school at 22 years old to the way I'm standing right now, in those 20 years, there has not been a single day in my life that I have not operated a business, and there's not been a single time in that entire 20-year period where I didn't make more money than I lost so I could pay my bills. It's called practicality. It's called building an actual business. And so it's cool that you have a t-shirt with a logo on it and you're a lifestyle fashion brand until the economy crashes and you have to work at fucking Rogers. don't get it twisted. I'm not on a high horse standing up here saying I'm successful and you're not yet or anything cool like that. I'm desperate for you to win. And for you to win, you have to have business principles. You have to be able to sustain your business. And you have to understand that when there's an abundance, that is not always going to be the way it's going to be. And so are you, with your profits, if you're crushing it, are you putting that back into your business or saving that, or are you buying dumb shit to look good on Instagram? These are things you have to think about. This is real life. And real life will rear its head very soon, sooner than later. I have no idea. If I did, I would play the markets that way. Nobody really understands when, how, or for what reason. But it's just the way it's always been. And guess what? I don't feel comfortable when the global economy is getting close to a decade of prosperity, because it usually isn't able to hold on that long. Now, there's been enormous amounts of manipulation of governments supporting it, but fundamentals are fundamentals. And so I stand here today trying to get people into the right mindset of the yin and yang of what's happening, which is both things are true. A, it's unbelievable that things have been so good for so long, and it's a good time to start strategizing what if. What if I can't raise any money for my business? Does my business make money? What if? What if the biggest companies in the world and startups and other businesses go out of business and they don't have money to give me? What if? At the same token, what makes this time tricky is that the internet is starting to hit such a scale and such an opportunity that there is a land grab and more opportunity than ever for the individual businesses and anything else. It's incredible to me that you can start a brand from zero, have a smart